show you. But the first thing is first, you need to install Roboform. So you go to www.roboform.com, spell it out as you see it like here, and then you click the downloads portion, which is the click right there, and you want to select the first one. Now, Roboform only works with Internet Explorer and Firefox. Me personally, I would use Firefox for two reasons. One, I think Firefox is a lot better, just a better browser, just faster and whatnot, and you can disagree with that. But the second thing that you can't disagree on is the fact that we have autofill forms as a backup, and especially with redemptions, you want to make sure you cover your bases, because the more ready you are, the more prepared you are, the better the chances of you getting it. Especially with these low prices, you really want to make sure you know what you're doing. So just having a backup plan, a plan B, that would be the reason why I would say choose Firefox. So you go ahead and install it, and it's just basically next, and ding, you got it. So what you do is you need to set it up. Now, here's where a lot of video tutorials go wrong. I looked at YouTube. I looked on a forum. Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't look at many forums. I saw one forum, but I was looking at the videos and they set it up wrong. I don't care who you are. I mean, it may work for you, but I tried it exactly the same way. It did not work. So do not listen to how they do it, because I found a way that it does work. And the only reason why I used the autofill forms was just because I wasn't too confident. But now that I look at it, I do feel a little bit more confident in this, because just with playing around with it, I feel confident. And you'll see why. And I'll explain more once we get there. So instead of setting up an identity, which you'll see create identity, that's not what you do. What you have to do is you have to create a passcard. So what you and the first way to create your own passcard is log into your favorite website. Go to Lockerz.com, type in your stuff, and it'll say create a passcard. You say yes, and then from there, it'll ask you to it'll just show up. So I have 4 here. I use one for Facebook, one for the regular Lockerz login. I have one for the address for filling in the redemption, and then the redemption login. Redemption login is the exact same thing as the last time. So all you got to do is make one for that. How do you make one? Is you right click and you push clone. I'm not going to do it because it kind of messes things up for me. Because I was doing a previous tutorial and I actually had to delete that. So basically do clone, and you're gonna rename it. Let's just try it one more time. I'll name it Zither Music. Hopefully it's because it goes by alphabetical order. And I've never listened to it, so if you're a fan of Zither Music, I'm sorry, I've never heard it. So thankfully it did go to the last one. So Zither Music is lame, and this is, if you saw my previous tutorial with autofill forms, then this is going to seem very familiar. It's the same exact info, same exact field values, so on and so forth, and you see all of these here. There's one thing that's different, and I believe that it is important, and you need to configure it perfectly. It's this URL right here. Basically it's saying for this URL, this is what you want all your info in. For now, since I'm basing it off the simulator, this is the URL I'm using. But when you're doing the actual redemption, do pointsplace.lockerz.com. And what that does is, why that's important is because every time you redeem something, it's going to have that URL and then a bunch of stuff on the back, on the trail end. Like for example, the login was like pointsplace.lockerz.com/cheddar.php one time. I think that was the May shop redemption one. I remember that because I had that configured, but I believe that if you do just that tail end part, it'll do it for the whole website. So that's what you want. So that's important right there. So that's what you do. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this because it conflicts with the other one. So I want to show you. So here's all the info, same thing, same issue again. The state. I like a mental fart there. The state does not fill in. So there's the state and the CAPTCHA will have to be done manually. But if you're fast enough, it won't hinder you that much. I remember when I was doing it with hotkeys, it took me 5 to 7 seconds to click down and do the captcha. So I mean, it might shave down a second or two instead of doing a hotkey. So I mean, that's up to you. So for now, this just for the test purposes, and when you're testing it, do pointsplace.lockerzclub.info, which is the emulator site. So that's good right there. And then let's go ahead and test it out, as I said. So here we are. We've seen this over and over again, and here I'm just gonna go whatever, you know. And this is what I was talking about when it's making your first pass card. What you need to do is you need to clone. And I forgot a point, so I'll just stop it right here. That's where the pause was. I was thinking, oh crap, I need to teach you guys how to edit. So once you do here is you select stuff, alright, and to select that field you select the input, the place where you input your value. So from there you can go to edit, you push edit, and you go add field, which creates one of these. Rename it if you want to rename something, and you can delete it. So these would be the ways you you change around the pass card. And you can have, I think in the regular version it's 15, I'm not exactly too sure, but so I mean you can have up to 15, but for me I only use it for Facebook, Lockerz, and that's about it, because I do all my other stuff on Chrome. So yeah, it really doesn't matter for me. So with that, there we are. And here's another thing what you need to do, and I'm so glad I paused for a second. What you need to do is you need to configure it to make sure that it does it by itself. Now what I mean by that is you don't need to worry about a hotkey anymore. It'll do it on its own. How do you set that up is you need to go to Roboform, this button right here, right next to the search bar, and you go to options. This is my Windows 7 that's doing this. Do I want to? Yeah, let's go. And then go to the autofill. Now take a look at this. Do the exact same thing I have here, because it works. So I wouldn't, if you get more familiar and you want to change it up, cool beans for you. But I'm working. This works for me. I'm not messing with it. Pause it. That's great. That's the great thing about this video. Pause it, take a look at this, and make it exactly what it is, because it works for me. Okay, so here's this, and this is how you set it up, and this is how it's gonna do it on its own. So we got that. Okay, so we got everything taken care of. Now here's the thing. Alright, we push redeem now, and I'm gonna tell you, all I'm gonna do is a left click here, and automatically it didn't fill in my info. Oh, it did. Okay, it took a while. I was getting a little bit nervous there. I'm like, oh crap. But it did. Alright, I didn't push anything yet. It did take a while. Normally it doesn't take that much time. I don't know why it did, but it did do that. If it does take a long time, then yeah, you're gonna have to realize that that takes seconds. But let's try this again. Maybe it's just because it's the first. There we go. See, it was a lot faster. So I mean, that's what you want to do, and then you have to manually choose. Since this was in Virginia, and you have to do this housing inter, something like that, and then you got to do that. So that's how that works. If you're not in the USA, then you're gonna have to manually choose this. You know, if you're in Afghanistan, you're gonna have to go to Afghanistan. But for me, I'm in the US, so and so was John Smith. So there's that. That's the whole tutorial. Except when you go to Lockerz, you're gonna have to do it for pointsplace.lockerz.com. Remember that. Okay, so that concludes the tutorial. Hopefully everyone liked it. I'm trying. There's this other program that I'm going to try out. If it does work, then I may make a tutorial. I may not, because yeah, this is what I'll be using for now. And I still have a week to figure it. Well, not really. I mean, anytime this week. It could be. Hopefully, it's not tomorrow. But anytime this week. So whenever it's not redemption, I have time to figure it out. So hopefully I'll figure it out as soon as possible. But yeah, this is probably going to be your best shot at redeeming this week. So good luck.